read about Jerusalem, it's in Genesis, when Abram meets with Melchizedek right here in the valley of Kidron.
Temple Mount is a central point for the three largest religions in the world: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. For Muslims, it is home to Al-Aqsa. For Jews, it is the location of the ancient temples. For Christians, it stands at the heart of biblical history, tied to the city of Jerusalem. For centuries, every visible stone has been studied and debated in unprecedented detail. Yet no one knows what lies beneath this sacred plateau, as digging below this holy site was considered impossible. There was no way to excavate the ground. Until now. In recent years, a new archaeological research initiative, backed by Israel, began investigating what might lie beneath this nearly 3,000-year-old site, without digging or violating its sacred status. So what did they find out? And what does it mean for the future of the Temple Mount? Let's dive in. The most sensitive site. The story of the Temple Mount begins over 3,000 years ago. In the 10th century BCE, King Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem. This temple held the Ark of the Covenant and became the center of Jewish faith and life. When the Babylonians destroyed it in 586 BCE, the Jewish people were heartbroken. But after many years in exile, they returned and built the Second Temple. For almost 600 years, people prayed, learned, and strengthened their traditions there, even as different empires ruled the land. In the 1st century CE, the Temple Mount also became essential to Christians. Christian tradition says that Jesus taught in the temple courts, spoke against injustice there, and warned that the temple would fall. When the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in 70 CE, Christians believed this moment changed their faith, turning attention from a building to a spiritual message. In the 7th century CE, the site took on a new meaning for Muslims. Islam teaches that the Prophet Muhammad rose to heaven from this sacred place. Soon, the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque were built, making the Temple Mount, known in Islam as Al-Haram al-Sharif, the third holiest site in the Muslim world. Due to its layered history, the Temple Mount stands at the intersection of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, a single location tied to prophets, revelations, and sacred events across three major world religions. For centuries, scholars, pilgrims, and travelers studied everything visible above ground. Walls were measured, stones were catalogued, ancient texts were compared with visible remains. But one question remained unanswered. What lies beneath the Temple Mount? Excavation was impossible. The site was too sacred and too sensitive to disturb. For generations, the underground world remained untouched and unknown, until now. The investigation. In recent years, a new archaeological research effort, backed by Israel, began exploring the Temple Mount for the first time. Instead of digging, scientists used advanced, non-invasive scanning technologies, methods that allow them to see through stone without moving a single block. Layer by layer, the scans mapped the space beneath the surface. Deep below the Temple Mount lies a sealed network of chambers, untouched for nearly 2,800 years. These were not collapsed ruins or random cavities. The structures appeared intact, carefully built, deliberately closed, and preserved in time. There were no signs of fire or destruction. The rooms appeared intentionally sealed and protected. The deeper the scans extended, the more astonishing the findings became. It was a complex system of connected spaces, deliberately designed and sealed. Everything inside appeared exactly where it had been left. Civilizations rose and fell above it. Empires marched across the land. Temples burned. Walls collapsed and were rebuilt, while this hidden space remained untouched beneath. Nearly 3,000 years have passed, since human hands last entered these chambers. That raised a chilling question. If this place was meant to disappear, why was it never destroyed? A religious world beneath. As researchers began to interpret why this had been built and what its creators intended, another unsettling picture emerged. This was not a single isolated chamber that had been hidden by chance. It was an entire world operating beneath the surface, sealed away, separate from the life above. This space was not designed for elites or royalty. Instead, it felt deeply religious, almost intimate. Throughout the chambers were objects associated with worship and daily ritual, vessels used for offerings, tools tied to household practices, seals, and items that blended the sacred with the ordinary. This was not a grand monument meant to impress future generations. A living space shaped by ritual, routine, and belief. This hidden complex suggests that belief did not disappear when public visibility was lost. When open religious expression became restricted, devotion moved quietly underground. What lay beneath the Temple Mount was not a challenge to official worship. It was a parallel system that existed alongside it. A spiritual world operating beyond the reach of authority, shaped by ordinary people rather than institutions, was something that would change everything we thought we understood about faith, memory, and survival in ancient Jerusalem. The hidden stone. Among everything hidden beneath the Temple Mount, one thing stands apart from the rest: a solitary, standing stone. In ancient religious traditions, such stones were powerful symbols. They marked the presence of the divine, sacred moments, and deep spiritual connection. Over the centuries, as religious practices changed, many of these stones were removed, destroyed, or forgotten. They vanished from memory, lost to time. But this one remained, unbroken, undisturbed, silent witness to centuries of history. This stone is more than just an object. It is a witness to time itself. While walls above were torn down and rebuilt, but why was this stone left untouched while others were removed? Perhaps it was respected. Those in charge may have understood that removing it would cause more harm than leaving it hidden. It may hold a significance that could not be denied. Whatever the reason, its presence transforms the entire discovery. Between what was officially allowed and what was quietly preserved, kept safe from destruction. So what does this discovery mean for the story of the Temple Mount? Rewriting the past. For a long time, people believed they fully understood how worship worked in ancient Jerusalem. Religious leaders brought all devotion to one main place, and other forms of worship disappeared. Many thought smaller temples and shrines were destroyed, leaving no signs of different beliefs or traditions. But what lies under the Temple Mount suggests something more complex. A hidden shrine was found that was not ruined or robbed. Instead, it was carefully sealed and protected, left almost exactly the way it once was. Destroying a place sends a message of control and power, but sealing and saving it sends another message, one of quiet respect, caution, or perhaps uncertainty. This raises an important question. If leaders wanted these older practices to vanish, why keep them safe instead of erasing them? The evidence points to a careful plan, one that avoided direct conflict while still guiding public worship above ground. This finding challenges what many scholars once believed. Written records mostly tell the story of rulers and officials, but hidden spaces like this show the private faith of ordinary people. It is layered with voices that were silent, forgotten, or never written down. Sometimes, what survives quietly can teach us the most. The public reaction. The reaction to this discovery reaches far beyond archaeology, especially for Jews and the State of Israel. For Judaism, the Temple Mount is the holiest place on earth, the location of the first and second temples, and the spiritual center of Jewish history, prayer, and identity. For Israel, the implications are equally profound. Any finding beneath the Temple Mount touches the deepest layers of national memory, sovereignty, and legitimacy. Discoveries here are not just academic. They intersect with modern politics, international scrutiny, and long-standing conflict. Evidence of ancient Jewish life beneath the surface reinforces historical ties that Jews have maintained for millennia, even when access above ground was denied. Religious leaders must now consider how these findings align with tradition and law. Historians are forced to re-examine assumptions about continuity, worship, and survival under restriction. Israeli authorities face the delicate task of protecting sacred space while managing global attention and regional sensitivity. At the heart of it lies a moral dilemma. How far should a modern state go in uncovering truths rooted in sacred ground? Each revelation strengthens identity, yet risks inflaming tension. And if something so meaningful remained hidden for nearly 3,000 years, what else might still be waiting beneath the sacred stone? The Temple Mount has always felt like a place where heaven and earth meet. Now we know it also holds memories that were never written down in history. This discovery does not give us all the answers. Instead, it offers a new perspective. History is not finished speaking, and the ground beneath our feet may still hold stories we are not yet ready to hear. So, what do you think about this discovery? How does it change the way we see history? Drop your thoughts about this in the comments below. If you liked this video, ensure you give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, because we will be uploading more crazy stories like this one in the coming weeks. Until then, see ya.